Yeah, this is a how-to video for welding in the flat position. You're going to be doing all 5 of the welds that we've already talked about. You're going to be doing corner weld, butt weld, T-weld, lap weld, and the edge weld. We have an example of welds in the flat position. Okay, this is a multi-example. It has the white colored ones are the flat position. That's what you guys are going to be copying. The pink ones have been welded in the horizontal. You're not doing that in this welding assignment. And then these orange ones are going to be welded in the vertical position. You're not doing those either. So you need to take note of this example because it has them positioned the way that you welded it. So you have to position these the way that they are positioned on here when you weld it. So that means you weld them up in a specific way. So this edge weld, as it sits on the desk, as this thing sits, this example, you need to weld it to where the edge weld is facing straight up. Okay, not like the other ones. It's the white one here. It's facing straight up. So I'm going to go through each of those quickly and how you can position them. So we have 2 pieces of metal here. You're going to make sure that the top edge, actually you want both edges, so that way when you mess up on the top one, you can flip it over and do the other side. But you want the edges to be totally lined up and flat, and then you're going to clamp them together with the vice grip. So I need to show you how to use the vice grip real quick. If the whole thing kind of comes undone and it doesn't look like it's working right, you're going to squish it at the top, put the bottom handle in, and then it will work correctly. Even if there's no spring in there, it will still work. See this gap here? I can control the gap with the bottom knob. I want to get that to where, and I'll adjust the camera here so that way you can see it. I'm going to try and open this up to where I can fit the metal in and then squeeze it shut and then take it off, and you're going to go another quarter turn to make it tight. Squeeze it, and there you go. So I'm going to weld this in this position. This will hold it for me. I can just lay this down on the work surface. I can weld straight on top of that. And we are using 6013. That's a different electrode. It welds easily, like 7014. Not quite as easy, but pretty close. For the next one, so that was the edge joint. Now we need the lap joint. You're going to put them together. You're going to come in here with your vice grip. Okay. We're going to tack weld this. So tack welding just means put a little dot weld and a little dot weld on this side, like maybe even the ends. That would be good. So then it's completely out of your way. Then you need to position it so they'll be stuck together once you tack weld them. You need to position it to where it is just like the example, which is, I don't know if you can see that very well in the video, but the example, it's sitting at an angle like that. We have a trough at every single welding station where once you tack weld these together, you can lay them in the trough and it will hold them at the right position, and you're just going to weld right down it. This is a flat position, meaning it is going to catch or cup the molten puddle as you're welding. And as you're welding, you want to do a bit of a weave. It could be a back and forth weave. It could be a half moon. You can look these up in our book. They got all the examples in more detail, but it's just you're catching this side, then you're catching this side, then you're catching this side is what you're doing with each of the welding patterns. I tend to do a half moon or a back and forth motion. Okay, the next one is a T-weld. A T-weld is going to be like this. You can try to do your clamp like that, or you can just put the channel locks, which are the big pliers. You can just kind of hold them down with it or lay it across. Tack weld the edge and then tack weld the back edge. And when you go to weld this, you're going to use that same channel. You want these to be at an angle. Okay, so that way it cups the molten metal. And if you screw up one side, go to the other side. So you get 2 chances with each of these. The next one is going to be a butt weld. Butt weld is pretty easy to clamp this together. And once you get it tack welded, get that out of there. And you're just going to weld right down the middle. Then you're going to do the corner weld. There's a lot of different ways you can do the corner weld. The easiest way to weld it is to get it to where there's an open groove, but you can do it however you want. You can get your pieces to go like that, clamp them together like that if you'd like. Either direction, it doesn't matter. It can be half overlapping, quarter overlapping, a little bit overlapping. It doesn't matter as long as it's a corner. We are welding the outside. We're not welding the inside of this corner. We're welding the outside. That's the goal. And again, this is the easiest way to do it. The best way probably to get this fit up for you guys with just learning this is to use your tabletop, hold it down with your channel locks, those big pliers. So instead of having my finger here, you're going to just kind of hold a channel lock there, or team up and work with whoever you're sharing the booth with and have them hold it, and then you hold theirs while they tack it. And you want to just tack weld it right at the top here, right underneath the channel locks, or move the channel locks out of the way and flip it over and tack weld. That's it. Once you get it tack welded, you'll want to weld it in this position right here, because this is going to cup the metal the best, and this is the flat position when you weld right across the top of that. And again, it doesn't matter if you have the corner overlapping or not overlapping, but just so you know, this is the easiest welding position, or the welding joint fit up that you can do is right there with that gap, because you just fill the gap and you're ready to go. Now the last part of this, over here by the door, you have a big box of random weird shaped metal on the ground. That's where you're going to get the backer plate from. So we made a backer plate out of that metal. So what you're going to do, get whatever shape you can, and you're going to position these. And you can cut this down if you need to. If it's too big or not long enough, you can take it and then weld the other piece to it. You're going to put all of these pieces exactly how I have them. And how you welded them, which is the flat position, you're going to position them like that, and you're going to tack weld them onto it. If you don't tack weld it and you just do a full weld and you find out from me that you did it wrong, well, you got to redo it or you got to fix it. So if you tack weld it, you can take a plasma cutter to it very quickly, or a grinder, cut off disc to it very quickly and get it off of there. But if you full weld it, you're just redoing it. Also, weld your name into the back and your class hour. So first, last name, it doesn't matter, and your class hour.